This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
You can do it from here by sending Steve to be one of those reinforcements that we need in Washington, D.C.
Sarah Palin endorsed Steve Lonegan during his Senate run in a special election last year. After Lonegan shook things up with his Tea Party candidacy in a blue state, he's taking another shot, this time running for Congress, and Governor Palin has his back once again. Today, Steve Lonegan joins us to talk about his race in New Jersey. Governor Palin stumps for Manus and McDaniel. Our brand new feature with Colonel Rob Manus starts today. Strap in with the Colonel is on the way. A brand new Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson is coming up. And just ahead, our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman. Welcome to our new network, Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is bigger and better than ever, and we will continue to bring you the latest news on Sarah Palin each and every week, and we will also continue to have great guests each episode. So, for those of you who have listened to us for years on the other network, please make sure you head to mamagrizzlyradio.com so you won't miss a thing. And follow us on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio. Also like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook. Now we head to New Jersey and say hello to Steve Lonegan, who's running for Congress. Mayor Lonegan, welcome back to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio.
Good to be with you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Sarah Palin backing you again. What's that say about her faith in you, sir? She backed your underdog Senate run, and now as you seek a House seat, she's with you again.
Yeah, she is, and it's 7 months after we won this district, the 3rd district in New Jersey, against Cory Booker, the so-called Democrat superstar who spent a whopping $12 million last year to win a special election. Of course, with the support of people like Oprah Winfrey and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and all the Hollywood elite and Silicon Valley billionaires, spent just an unbelievable amount of money to hold on to the seat. But I did win the 3rd congressional district by an astounding 54.5% of the vote. Actually, the best performance of any Republican in this district in more than 20 years. And we'll do that again come November. Of course, coming after the special election against Cory Booker, we had a phenomenal rally with Governor Palin and Mark Levin just a week prior to that election, in which we turned out some 5,000 people. It was the biggest political event New Jersey's seen in my lifetime. We had terrific momentum, but New Jersey is a very blue state. We had the issue of the shutdown, which hurt us here. But I did win the 3rd. So with Governor Palin's endorsement going into this primary, I find myself as the conservative Republican representing the conservative movement, the Tea Party movement, and I'm up against a very, very liberal establishment Republican who actually supports some level of Obamacare and Common Core and all the liberal big government programs. So what you're seeing, Kevin, in New Jersey is a real battle for the heart and soul of the Republican Party. I mean, the primary is where we're going to define what the Republican Party looks like. And Governor Palin's endorsement coming into this last week, I think, is a huge way of mobilizing our base. And I'm very confident in a win on Tuesday, even though you're going to be shocked by this. I'm still shocked by it. My opponent in this primary comes out of AIG Insurance Group, the largest recipient of TARP bailout money, over $138 billion. And it was that very TARP bailout that launched the Tea Party movement. People were furious that so much of our money would go to bail out these big insurance companies and these big banks. My opponent in this primary is actually a major recipient of money from that bailout, and now he's using that money to fund a congressional race. So there's a lot more at stake in terms of what the ideology and what the vision of the Republican Party is going to be than people realize unless they're watching what's happening in New Jersey.
Well, you continue to call your opponent liberal, and I like this. A lot of candidates refrain from the truth, but you're letting people know what your opponent is, and as we all know, liberal policies have failed New Jersey and the country. Just like you talk about Booker and the Hollywood elite who came in to help him and the Obama lapdogs. Same thing here. I mean, you're just calling it as it is, and I think Governor Palin agrees with you on the issues, but I think she also likes that straight talk coming from you too, sir.
Well, Kevin, I'll tell you what. My opponent has said very bluntly that the government needs to do more to help people. The government needs to do more to help people. I happen to believe the 9 most feared words in the English language should be, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, as
right.
Ronald Reagan put it so clearly. The government doesn't help people. The government only gets bigger and more intrusive and helps itself. And as we capitulate to the government, quote-unquote, helping people, we give up our liberties, along with our individual responsibility and our individual freedom. So there's a fundamental philosophical difference between me and my opponent. He believes in big government. He has said that the government has a role in our health care, that we should have a health insurance company of last resort for people who can't afford health insurance. That's exactly what Hillary Clinton said. That's what Ted Kennedy said. That's the premise of Obamacare. So what you see here is a real liberal establishment Republican who's been endorsed by all the big liberal establishment Republican entities like the Chamber of Commerce, because he supports amnesty, is that, we're going to worship at the altar of big government. I'm just not going to do that. And Governor Palin recognizes that, and with her support and the support of your listeners, and my website is Lonegan for Congress, that's Lonegan, Lonegan for Congress. We're going into the home stretch. We have I have every Tea Party group in the state backing me, as well as Tea Party Express nationally. This is the liberal establishment versus the conservative movement on a scale I've never seen before in this state. So I thank you for having me on your show so we can promote this battle.
Oh, it's our pleasure, sir. And now your opponent, he's suing you too now? I mean, that sounds like a liberal move.
Well,
so more frivolous lawsuits?
It's really hilarious.
Yeah.
It's an absolute, it's laughable. We exposed some newspaper stories and newspaper articles about his company, his AIG affiliate, slow-walking insurance claims and failing to pay insurance claims. And we put them out there, and he said, you can't tell people about these newspaper stories. You can't tell people about these articles. I said, yes, I can. This is America. We have this little thing called the First Amendment. So he threatened, I'm going to sue you. We're going to say, well, that never really materialized. It was just another one of these liberal, cheap trial lawyer type tricks, but it's pretty fascinating. The desire to chill speech by threatening lawsuits is something only liberals do.
Now, you don't shy away from your conservatism one bit, and I think that's resonating. You're a patriot through and through, pro-life, pro-marriage. You're a supporter of Israel, a fighter for our Second Amendment, and you're standing up for us. And I think when people hear you talk, listen, they know where you stand, whether they agree with you 100%, 80%, or 10%. They know what's coming from you.
That's true, and I've always tried to be able to explain what I believe. It's the ability to explain why you believe in what you believe in. Not just to blanketly state, well, I'm going to say that I oppose the Common Core intrusion into our education because I saw a poll that says it's a good thing to say. It's because you have a philosophical basis for your ideas of why you believe that. And I think the ability to communicate that to listeners and to voters is critical. The education and the formation of our children's minds belongs to a parent, a teacher, and a child, not the federal government. And if we give up the education of our kids, in the case of Common Core, to the federal government, we're going to allow them to form the future thinking of our kids. That's very, very dangerous because they're going to teach the merits of big government because that's what they're about. But again, it's the ability to explain why you believe in something that's almost more important than what you believe in.
Well, as a father of 2 young children, that one really hits home with me, the whole Common Core situation. It's just downright terrifying at this point. Now, what are New Jerseyans in District 3 mostly concerned about right now? What are you hearing on the street? Because I know you're out there every day shaking hands and talking to people and hearing it from them. So what are they talking about at the shore? Obamacare
and the military. Because we have a large military base, joint base, McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, which is a joint Army, Air Force, Navy base. Here in the district, it's probably the most important military base in the Northeast, so they're concerned about, government cuts in military spending. I'm of the position that the defense budget is full of all kinds of pork and wasteful spending. We need to prioritize that spending and focus on keeping our military sound and solid and, the best in the world. That doesn't mean we need to tolerate massive amounts of waste, like $80 million ski resorts and the mountains of Switzerland, which we learned about in other spending programs. So, see, I don't buy into, Kevin, the concept that you just spend ghastly amounts of money and hope some of it sticks. That's a liberal agenda item. I think we do much better. So the military here and Obamacare, followed by Common Core, and just an all-out fear of what's happening to the federal government. It's just becoming massive and intrusive, and we're seeing more and more stories coming out now about the NSA and other issues, and people feel they're losing their liberty, and that they're justified in thinking that. So that's what I'm hearing, and I think that's probably indicative of much of the country as well.
So a big choice here for voters, a proven leader like yourself or a man who you compare to John Corzine, and that should make voters take notice.
Yeah, I do.
I mean,
I do.
We've seen what he did.
Corzine rolled in here with millions and bought himself a Senate seat and a governor's seat. We have another guy who just got involved in politics a few years ago after making a fortune over the AIG insurance bailout and his affiliate company, and then coming here to actually buy a House seat. And by loaning, here's the thing that also has to be very concerning. By loaning $2 million to his primary campaign, $2 million. Now, he has one donor himself and a handful of others. I have over 7,000 donors who have donated to this race, small amounts of money, people who care. But if you loan $2 million to your campaign, that means you expect to be paid back.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only make back that kind of money if you go to Washington and you do what the big interests tell you to do. If you're going to represent the interests of big insurance and big banks and big corporate America, and not the working people, the small businesses, the legitimate businesses who build real jobs without bailouts, then you're beholden to them, not to the voters. And I think that's a very important thing, and I hope the voters in my district understand that I'm beholden to no one but the grassroots that are getting me elected on Tuesday.
You're running in a lovely area. I spent a lot of my summers as a kid in Ortley at my great-grandparents' home, and lots of great memories in Lavallette and that beach area, and hopefully someone like you...
That's where I live.
Keep it
I
going.
live in Lavallette.
Yeah, I realize.
Yeah, no, I
good
live
stuff.
in West Point Island. It's a wonderful place, and I'm living amongst this massive recovery project, which is being fueled by private sector investment and people rebuilding their homes. And what we're seeing here on the Jersey Shore is really a renaissance now, because there's so much going on, and people have their backs into it. And today I was at the volunteer fire department, where volunteers are still rebuilding their firehouse. Never got any money from FEMA for that. People building homes all around me. My own home was partially damaged, but it's fine. And Ortley's only, as you know, a couple of minutes from me, so that's very. I'm glad to hear that.
All right, Mayor. Well, listen, one more time, your website, so people can help you out here on the stretch drive.
Lonegan, Lonegan, forcongress.com. Please go online and donate. We can load stuff on the radio tomorrow. I'm still being outspent 10-1, but you know what? We have the message, we have the base, and we're going to win.
Steve Lonegan, you're a great American. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Kevin.
For more on Steve Lonegan, head to Lonegan.com. That's Lonegan.com.